Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your weekly morning show where we bring you the latest in everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about how a major rebound could be coming to Bitcoin in early August. You see, we've got a lot of very important and very powerful technical indicators that are pointing us in the direction of a bounce coming over the next 2 to 4 weeks. Now, we've got a bit of a black swan, not a black swan, but an unknown coming up called the Ethereum ETF launch. When that launches, we may very well see a short-term corrective movement on Ethereum, which would likely lead to a corrective movement on the rest of the cryptocurrency space as well. But everything else is pointing bullish, even the launch of the Ethereum ETF, because it would eventually lead to a lot of inflows that would lead to a major rally on Bitcoin. So today, we're going to be looking at where Bitcoin moves next, and we're also, most importantly, going to be looking at how we can build wealth in the cryptocurrency space. Here's my guarantee to you. Ready for this? My guarantee to you is that if you follow what we're teaching, you will be vastly more successful because you did it. We've been teaching on the financial sovereignty way for years now. We've been teaching on technical analysis for years now. I have personally witnessed thousands of you guys, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of you succeed because of what we've been teaching. How to analyze the market, where the market goes next, being financially sovereign, getting out of debt, having a budget, having an investment plan. These are what you would call the basics. There's a lot of other things we do also, but these are the basics that we've forgotten. We're trying to build the roof. We haven't built the foundation yet. We're going to show you exactly how to build wealth in crypto. And I will also tell you something else. It's not necessarily super flashy. It's not necessarily something that's super out of left field. You're looking around on YouTube thinking to yourself, there's got to be something that I don't understand. No, it's actually a lot simpler than you think. The people that build exorbitant amount of wealth do the things I'm about to share with you. You can compromise one of them and you'll still do okay. You compromise 2 or more of them, you're going to fail. If you compromise any of them, you're not going to reach your potential. And so I'm going to show you through Bitcoin, through cryptocurrency, how to succeed with your money in every single sense of the word. Financial growth, spiritually, relationally, materially. And I want you to have peace, and I want you to have growth, and I want you to have prosperity, and I want you to succeed. And I'm going to show you how to do that. If you're new here, welcome to the stream. My name is Jeb McAfee. I've been working in the cryptocurrency space for 7 years this July 31st. And so I've been teaching how to build wealth in the cryptocurrency space for almost a decade. I've been doing this for a while. I'm the old guy in the space, right? I'm 23 years old in real life, but in the space, I'm 7 years old, which means I'm older than most of the people watching this. I've been here since Bitcoin was at $2,900 and Ethereum was trading below $300. I bought Ethereum at $183. Guys, I'm going to share with you the insight that I have. If you're new here, I want you to give me a wave in chat. I want you to give me the waving emoji because I'm going to give you personally a shout out. Thank you very much to everybody who is tuning in for the first time. It is my mission to help you succeed. Rick4962 in chat. Shout out to you, Rick. Thank you for your text. I do appreciate what you were texting me about. I got to get back to you. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Let's see. Crypto Mini Bikes in chat. Ruben's in chat. Eduardo is in chat. Rolando Lima is in chat. Johnny Losado is in chat. Darius is in chat. Shane Sullivan, Philly Skills, Cynthia, Chris, Sean, and Difla is in chat. Welcome, everybody. Let's get started. We've got a lot to cover. Bitcoin is currently trading at $57,926. And so we're very excited about the major rally that's going on right now in Bitcoin over the last 7 days. Shout out to Vatos also. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Bitcoin's up 4% over the last 7 days, and it has not been a incredibly powerful uptrend, but we have been in a kind of a general uptrend. Let's paint a picture here. Let's paint a portrait, shall we, son? Yeah, let's do it. Bitcoin has been on its largest bull market that it has witnessed in a very long time. Arguably, it is one of the most powerful bull markets that we've ever seen. And shout out to Joao. I'm so sorry, I can't speak Portuguese. I know how to speak Spanish a little bit, but I think you would pronounce that Joao. I'm really sorry if it's not, but shout out to you, Reveles, Joao Reveles. It's a cool name. You guys have great names. I'm sorry that I can't pronounce them all the time. WillyBot is in chat also. Welcome, my friend. Eric Taylor's in chat. Shout out to all of you guys. Brief Crypto's in chat. Go subscribe to their channel. But anyway, Bitcoin has been going through a major rally over the last 2 years. We originally fell all the way down to $15,500 as all hope seemed lost. Luna collapsed. Three Arrows Capital collapsed. FTX collapsed. The world was in chaos. Everybody was freaking out. $80 billion in Luna and the Terra Luna and the USD and the UST stablecoin vanished. It was one of the most apocalyptic times in the history of cryptocurrency. During this time right here, a lot of people got wrecked. Joao, I got it right. Awesome. Wow, I thought that's how you pronounce the A. Okay, I do know how to pronounce it. Well, shout out to you, Joao. I'm really happy that I got that right. Anyway, that is the stage that we need to remember. We've got to remember our setting, right? Think back to when you were in English class, right? What is one of the first things that you do in like 5th grade when you're analyzing a story? What's the setting? What's the setting? Where are we taking place? Oh, we're taking place. It's 1492. We're in Constantinople, and there's a cannon on the outside of the castle wall. Like that. That's our setting, right? It's 1969, and we're on the moon, and there's this random alien dude named Neil Armstrong who's stepping foot on my home planet, right? What's the setting? The setting for Bitcoin right now is that Bitcoin has just gone through the most monumental bull market that we have seen in the history of its entire existence. During that time, we saw a Bitcoin ETF come online. That was the single most significant adoption event that has ever happened in the history of this market. Can you tell history is being made quite a few times? Yes? Okay. Perspective and setting are important. Zooming in, though, what we have a tendency to do on daily streams like this, and what we have a tendency to do in our own analysis, is we just look at this. Oh, Bitcoin's down 25% in the last 31 days. Oh, no, boo-hoo, whoop-de-doo, I'm so scared. Don't be. Don't be. This is okay. Bitcoin needed to correct. You know that, though. If you've been watching our stream for a while, you know that it needed to correct. But what you might not know is that, one, it needs to continue, and two, it's not going to last forever, and there's going to be a rally coming soon out of this. Let's look at some of the previous bull markets that we've witnessed. Bitcoin went into an enormous bull market here from roughly the 17th of December 2018 to roughly tax day 2021. 2,000% movement. Bitcoin rallies from $3,000 to $65,000. Enormous rally. 2,000% rally, 20x. I was buying Bitcoin down at 30, and I was holding it at 64,000. So, during that time, Bitcoin had to go on a corrective movement of 72%. That was because of COVID, you say. Well, even without COVID, Bitcoin had to drop 54%. If we drop 23, 25, 30% on this corrective movement, that does not mean the bull market is over. It means that Bitcoin is consolidating, because after that corrective movement, and by the way, after the freaking world ended and everybody went home because of COVID, Bitcoin would rally 1,500%. You have not seen anything yet. Can I tell you that? You've not seen a thing yet. If you look at the total market capitalization chart, we have not even hit the previous bull market's all-time high, and we have an ETF for Bitcoin and Ethereum, guys. We're not even seeing Bitcoin, or total market cap, has gone back to its previous bull market all-time high yet. And we have a Bitcoin and an Ethereum ETF, guys. That shows you that there is an absolutely enormous disparity between where Bitcoin is and where Bitcoin's going to go. I like to start generally like this, because we can start, and this is how I started my technical analysis for years. Guys, I have done... how many? I have probably done 5,000 to 10,000 hours of technical analysis on camera in the last 7 years. I have spent, there's 8,760 hours in a year. I have spent more than 8,760 hours in front of a camera talking about this one chart. I told that to somebody that I was coaching on Monday. I said, this chart right here, I'm going to show you. I have looked at this chart more than I've looked at just about anything else in my entire life. I know this chart like the back of my hand. I remembered when we went on vacation earlier this year because I remember what the chart was doing and I knew what day the chart was doing that yesterday. I'm not even kidding. We went on vacation in January. I said, well, we must have been on vacation in the second half of January because I remember what the chart was doing because I remember making videos on it. We were right here. The market looked like this, and that started on January the 11th. It would have ended by January 25th because it was a 14-day corrective movement. So we must have been on vacation in the end of January because I know what the chart looks like, and I remember what the chart looked like when we were in North Carolina earlier this year. All right, so I've known this chart for a long time, and one of the things I've realized is that we can start out by looking at individual technical indicators. I can come down here and I can make the case I'm about to make to you by saying, first, the MACD is going bullish. I can come down here and I can say, first, the Bitcoin RSI is broken above the 14 interval moving average. It's bouncing bullish. I can come down here and say, first, the crypto Jeb oscillator is losing bearish momentum, and we have the least bearish strength that we have seen in over a month. But that's not where I'm going to start this, and we'll come back to that. Where I want to start my argument that the bottom is getting closer is this. If we look at the macro, Bitcoin sometimes needs a few months and a few dozen percentage point corrective movement before it can move into a major uptrend. Sometimes it needs that. We've seen that happen over and over again in history. And so I want to show you the history here, because history repeats itself. It doesn't always repeat perfectly, but it often rhymes. And what Bitcoin has to do in so many instances is it has to correct very quickly, but it corrects very deep. Or it has to correct just a little bit, but it takes a long time. Like when Bitcoin, traded sideways in this region right here, or this region right here. Traded sideways, and it took a long time. Bitcoin is splitting the difference. It's been an enormous rally, and it needed time to correct. We have every fundamental reason in the book to believe that the market is going to continue moving to the upside and that we have not hit all-time high that's going to happen in this bull market yet. Every reason. We've got every reason to believe that this bull market is not over. Every single flipping reason. And so with that perspective, again, we've got to lay our exposition. You ever watch a show and you're like, oh, I know what they're doing. They're laying the exposition. You remember back to middle school, right? I had a teacher that taught this. Her name was Miss Campbell, so we always called her Miss Soup, right? Because her name was Miss Campbell, and she would teach us about the setting. And you've got the rising, you've got the exposition, the rising action, the climax, and then you come down in the falling action, then the resolution, right? You remember the wizard hat they called it back in like 6th grade? You remember that thing? Yeah. Well, in the beginning, there's the exposition. Here's the exposition. Bitcoin had a massive bull market, needed a correction. Well, wait a second. But we're getting a correction. What happens next? Well, here's the other setting. Bitcoin just had an ETF launch for Bitcoin. ETF's coming online for Ethereum. Biggest adoption event in the history of the world. Like if this were a documentary, you would be having. If this were a documentary, this video that I'm shooting right now, this stream. If this were a documentary, I would take sound bites off of mainstream media and off of YouTubers saying, the largest adoption event in the history of the world has happened, and then you have the cut, right? It's like those pandemic movies. It's kind of freaky, a little scary. You got the paint a picture for you. You've got the static, and you're like, boom, the world's largest adoption event has just taken place, and then an Ethereum ETF is coming online next month. You've got the exposition. There's your exposition. Massive bull market, not done yet. Reason to believe it's not done yet. Okay, let's get into the actual story. Here's the story. Here's where our story begins, right? We're crafting a story here. There's a reason that Jesus taught in stories, because we were programmed, we were hardwired to learn through stories. That's why you read a book to your kid, right? Here's the story. I gave you the exposition. Here's the story. We jump in, and it's July 12th. And we know from our exposition, from that opening shot, that Bitcoin's primed and ready for a next bull market. It's primed and ready for a next uptrend. But then we get some of the meat of the actual story. Well, wait a minute. We've got a bullish MACD cross happening. Oh, look at that. Johnny John, our lead character, he just walked into a deli in downtown Manhattan, right? These are our story elements. Here's one of them. We just had a bullish MACD cross on Bitcoin for the first time since here, 4th of June, 2024. This is the first time that we've seen a bullish MACD cross below the histogram 0 level since here, the 5th of May, 2024. The 5th of May, 2024 led to a major uptrend. Right here, we had a bullish MACD cross, but it did not actually pan out. But recall, it was above the 0 level. The last 2 times that we have seen a bullish MACD cross below the 0 level are here and here. Bullish MACD cross above the 0 level, the last time that occurred, led to a rally of 13%. Didn't lead to a breakout, but we didn't have the depth. Remember, going into a major rally on Bitcoin sometimes is like, jumping off of a trampoline. No, that's not pie. The further you jump, the more potential energy you have, and the stronger it is. Right? So we didn't have enough oomph. That you were throwing a ball against the ground, hoping it would bounce on top of the roof, but you were a foot away from the ground when you threw it. You just didn't have enough oomph. You needed to drop a little bit more, and that's what we did. We dropped further. Over here, we were far enough down. Bullish MACD cross comes in below the 0 line, and we see a 74% movement in 46 days. That's 1.5% a day. That beats BitConnect, guys. Come on. Who remembers BitConnect and their stupid promises of 1% a day? Here is the thing. Let's see. So what we're seeing here is we've got that cross down here below the 0 level. On top of that, we've also got the RSI moving to the upside here. We've broken above the 14 interval moving average, and we are now moving up towards 40. If we're able to continue these things, and we keep in mind the fact that we have a bullish MACD, a bullish divergence going on right here, that gives us our setup. Right? This is the next phase of the story. Here's what happens next. We continue to see, if Bitcoin is able to continue these bullish movements here, that we have the foot taken off of the gas by the bears. The bears are losing their momentum here on the Crypto Jeb Oscillator. If you've not signed up for Crypto Jeb Oscillator, you should sign up for LUX Algo by going to luxalgo.com/Jeb, and you will see how you can get Crypto Jeb Oscillator by signing up under our link, and you'll get access to it. Crypto Jeb Oscillator giving us a lot of really strong signals that the bears are losing their strength. It is my favorite technical indicator, the Crypto Jeb Oscillator. And it's not just because my name's on it. Naturally, I'm a little bit biased because I created it, but I invented it and they built it, right? But I had the idea of what I wanted it to look like, and it came out perfect. So great indicator, sign up for it, but it's giving me exactly the information that I am discerning from the market as well. I thought to myself, they offered to make a technical indicator and for me to invent it. And so I said, well, how do I create a technical indicator that could replace me in case somebody didn't have Jeb? And my wife's like, you would do that? And I'm like, yeah, well, I think that's the best thing to do. So you can take Crypto Jeb Oscillator and you can pretty much just know what I'm going to say, because this is literally, it's crazy. This indicator basically reads my mind and it tells you what's going to happen, except it doesn't read my mind. It reads the markets the same way that I do. So Crypto Jeb Oscillator showing that the bulls are starting to, the bears are losing their strength, but they're not done yet, which is great. It's beautiful because the bears have not lost all their strength yet. And that's one of the sub points here. Even though things are looking up on Bitcoin, they have not actually broken bullish yet. We don't actually have bullish confirmation of any kind yet. Bitcoin's gone into an uptrend here, but it's very weak. So if we do see a bullish MACD cross here on the daily chart, that does not mean that we're out of the woods yet, because Bitcoin really is going to need to have a lot more bullishness come, and we might not be done yet. But I want to lean on this article here for a second. JPMorgan, who cannot make up their mind whether they are an advocate or an adversary of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Jamie Dimon hates it. The rest of the company seems to love it. I know people inside of JPMorgan, and pretty much everybody at JP loves Bitcoin except Jamie Dimon. So the guy's very out of sync with his own crowd, because a lot of the people that work under him are huge crypto investors. But anyway, the bank reduces year-to-date crypto market net flow estimate to $8 billion due to a decline in Bitcoin reserves across exchanges in the past month. But JPMorgan also, along with me, seem to believe that August is going to see some more bullishness than what we have seen so far. You can see it here in the title. Crypto market rebound expected in August, liquidations to finish by July end. JPMorgan. And the reason that I believe that also is because, or at least the reason that I believe that the worst of it's going to be over in July is because, listen, I could see Bitcoin dropping from all-time high back down to $49,000. That'd be a 33% drop. If that's going to happen, though, it's probably going to happen soon. That's probably what's going to happen soon. Because either Bitcoin is going to absolutely capitulate in the next week. Apparently, we're either going to have the market completely capitulate in the next week or so down to that level because this bounce was not strong enough, which it's not. Or it's going to get stronger and we're going to start moving to the upside. But if it does capitulate, like these are the two avenues. Either we start a rally here and it looks something like, I don't know, something like this, however it looks. Or Bitcoin does break out here, but then it capitulates probably in the next week or so to our current prediction of what the total bottom would be, which would be $49,000. That's the level that the ETF came in at. And then that's where we would capitulate down to. That's moving into late July, early August, and then from there you bounce. These are kind of our two scenarios. 1, 2. One of them gives you even more buying time. One of them we just have already started the uptrend as we speak. We will see what happens, but ultimately, I'm also going to share with you how to build wealth in the cryptocurrency space. Before I show you all of those secrets, though, I am going to let you guys know about NordVPN. If you guys have not already signed up for NordVPN, you absolutely should. Here's the reason. NordVPN is going to protect you. It's like a force field. It's like a force field, guys. It's like having a cloaking device on when you're walking through the wild, wild west that is cryptocurrency. See, if you are walking through cryptocurrency and you don't have any defenses up and you don't have your cloaking device on, then everybody can see you wherever you go. They can see your IP address, to get technical. They can see your browsing activity. And by the way, NordVPN will also protect you and help you, and some of their other products as well, will help you from all of your information getting out there. Here's a story that I want to tell you. Yesterday, my wife and I were driving somewhere, I forgot where it was, and we were listening to the music on the radio, and we got an ad for someone who's running for local office in Arizona. Now, if you don't know, we don't live in Arizona. We live in Florida. But 10 years ago, my wife used to live in Arizona. They're running for office in the same county that she used to live in. So I realized in that moment, I know exactly why we're getting an ad for someone who's running for local office in a county position in Arizona. Here's how. Because Facebook knows that my wife has some friends that live in Arizona from many years ago. My Facebook knows that she used to live in Arizona over 10 years ago. And so Facebook can discern she's an adult of voting age now, and Facebook can discern that we are married, and since Facebook can discern that we are married, they sold the information that my wife may or may not be living or have relatives in Arizona to YouTube, who then use that information to sell me ads on somebody who's running for local office in Arizona so that I could take that ad and say, she sounds pretty cool. Hey, baby, why don't you tell family that you may or may not have in Arizona to vote for them because that ad makes sense. That's how creepy this stuff is. That's what's going on right now. I've never once been to Arizona. I've never even stepped foot in Arizona. My wife has not been to Arizona in a decade. But we're getting ads for local office in Arizona, and I thought there's only one way that this happened. There's only one way that the advertising targeting managed to do that. Because of all the information that they're getting from you because you're not using NordVPN. NordVPN will keep you private. It will keep you secure. It'll stop that kind of nonsense from happening because everybody and their mother online knows more about you than you do. And by the way, that information is dangerous because it can be used to hack you and steal from you. Sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below if you've not already. You need a VPN. NordVPN is the best VPN in the game, most widely adopted VPN in the game, and so you are missing out if you have not signed up for them. NordVPN.com/Jeb. You can get 4 months free. That's under $200 for 2 full years of subscription. Absolutely worth every penny to keep you private and, most importantly, safe. Let's read a little bit of chat, and then we're going to continue moving on about how we can succeed here in the cryptocurrency space. John Doe mentioning this as, again, Donald Trump to speak at Bitcoin conference in Nashville. Epic. Yes, we are having Donald Trump speak at the Bitcoin 2024 conference in Nashville. It's going to be very, very, very interesting to see what he has to say on everything. As I mentioned in yesterday's stream, this is a historic moment because this is the first time in history that a former or sitting president has spoken at a cryptocurrency convention and conference. And so very, very, very big deal that the most powerful individual or second most powerful individual on planet Earth is speaking on and being pro-crypto. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency has risen to the very top of power in society, and that is just one of many reasons that we know that it is something that is here to stay. All right. Jeb speaking wisdom and truth again. Hope you guys are enjoying it. All right. Oceanside Electric said, got my NordVPN this week. Thanks, Jeb. Absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys signing up. Look, it does help to support the channel as well when you sign up for NordVPN. So if you've not already, make sure that you do it with the link in the description box down below. All right. Let's keep it moving here. Appreciate all of you for tuning in. So how should we react to this market? This is the most important question. What should we do in this market? And by the way, if anybody has any other questions about what we want to do in this market, please feel free to ask them, because this show lives and breathes on user interaction. That's the way that I've set this up. I want to talk to you guys and ask you guys what your questions are. Are there any pressing questions that you have on your mind? Definitely tell us in chat and we'll get to them. But the question that I ask myself over and over is, how can someone approach Bitcoin at this point in time to best set themselves up to generate wealth? That's the question that I ask myself time and time again. And that's honestly where a lot of our content comes from, is how can somebody use the current market to generate wealth? It's that simple. The first step is they need to understand the market. That's where technical analysis comes in. The second step is they need to act on that market, which is where financial sovereignty comes in. The knowledge generation portion of it is our analysis, and the action is the financial sovereignty. So we've talked about the knowledge. We've talked about where Bitcoin has come from. We've talked about where I believe Bitcoin is going. But now, what should we do? I am going to beat a dead horse, and I'm going to say it over and over again. And by the way, I'm not going to stop. You're going to hear me saying the same thing in 30 years in some variety. We've got to actually do the work. We've got to actually do the action. We've got to actually do something about it. The problem that we run into in markets is not that the market's not cooperating. It's that we're not operating. It's not that the markets are not working for us. It's that we're not working in the markets. It's not they're not working for us. It's that we're not working in them. We're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You're not building the budget. You're not repenting of the foolishness. You're not choosing financial sovereignty. You're not choosing to obey the laws of money because you know they will work for you. You're not choosing to follow in the footsteps of all the people in this chat and all the people around the world that have been doing this for millennia. I did not discover these things, guys. I have put them into certain writing. I have shared them with hundreds of thousands of you guys, but they're in the Bible, for goodness sake. People have been following the financial sovereignty way for years. They just didn't know it was called that. How do we operate? How do we work in this market and succeed? We've got to actually do the work. That's the first thing that I'd like to say. Wisdom is not just knowledge. To be wise, you've got to do something. In the multitude of counselors, men shall go to war. You've got to do the action of going and seeking counsel. That's why I'm here. That's why many other people are here. That's why I have financial coaching, so that in the multitude of counselors, you can go to war. I challenge you to go to war on chaos and go to war on debt. In the multitude of counselors, men shall go to war. Women shall go to war. I can be your counsel as you go to war. This video, this stream, the FinSov Academy that we're building, or coaching, or however it may be, the other people in our audience can be counsel as you go to war, right? But you're doing the action. I'm one, seeking counsel. I'm two, going to war. I'm doing it. You know, when I first became a Christian, there was this weird philosophy that I didn't want, but somehow it like got into my mind, and I was like, I think this is wrong, but for some reason I believe this, and I had to overcome this, that I'm a Christian now, so God's just going to make it happen. That's not the way it works. You've got to get out there and bust your tail and put some seeds in the ground, and God will help them grow. But you've got to get out there, and you've got to do the work. You've got to do that. My son wants chocolate. He eats chocolate, and he says, Daddy, can you throw this away for me? I said, no, you can throw it away. You're perfectly capable of doing it yourself. It's your job. I'm going to allow you to have chocolate. I'm going to provide you chocolate, but you're going to be the one that goes and gets it, and you're going to be the one that throws the wrapper away, because we are a partnership, the same way you and your Heavenly Father are. So you've got to do the action. You've got to actually do what I'm teaching you to do. You've got to just do it, like Nike's slogan says. It's an ingenious slogan. Just do it. This starts with the action. What do we start with? If you've been a fool with money, you need to go down. You need to get on your knees, and you need to say, I have been a fool. I have been an absolute fool. I have blown all of my money on nonsense. I have wasted my money because I had too much payroll. I have wasted my money because I played the debt game. I have wasted my money because I have, not meal prepped. These are all things that I'm speaking of myself, by the way. These aren't examples. I'm giving you things that I've had to get down and say, this is something I need to repent of. This is foolishness. I have been angry. I've had a short temper sometimes. I have not been, diligent. I've not been disciplined. I've not been in control of different things like coffee or caffeine. I've got to get down. I've got to say, this is not good. I've got to go down, and I've got to get humble. And then I've got to rise up. And I've got to choose to be financially sovereign. I've got to go down and say, I'm done with the foolishness. And I've got to rise up and say, I am starting the wisdom. And then you have a third step. You've got to go to war. You've got to go to war. You've got to go down. You've got to go up. And you've got to go to war. You've got to humble yourself. You've got to embolden yourself. And you've got to prepare yourself for a battle. Repentance hurts. The easiest example of what repentance looks like is somebody who's addicted to heroin or addicted to alcohol or addicted to caffeine or addicted to some kind of addictive substance saying enough's enough. I'm going down. I'm saying this has been foolish. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm standing up and I'm choosing to be wise and not do this anymore. Then I'm going to go to war. I'm going down. Oh my gosh, I've been a drunk. I'm coming up. I'm done being a drunk. I'm going to war. I'm going to rehab, right? 3 steps. You've got to do this with your money. You've got to go down, get humble, go up, get bold, go to war and attack. These are 3 actions that you have to take. God is not going to do this for you. God will tell you over and over again to do this in the same way I will tell you over and over again to do this. But you are the one that has to do it. And it does hurt. As somebody said in chat the other day, fence-off works and it's great, but it kind of stings in the beginning a little bit when you realize how dumb you've been with money. Those are their exact words yesterday. And it's true. Because this war part, you're actually fighting yourself. It's not the world's fault most of the time. It's your fault. You chose to live this way. Maybe you were led wrong. Maybe you had parents that didn't teach you any better, whatever. But it's your fault. And it hurts. And you know why? Because when you say, hey, I was addicted to, not me, but let's say you were addicted to heroin, right? Or somebody was addicted to heroin. Rehab sucks from what I hear, right? The only thing I've ever actually considered myself I think I'm addicted to it is caffeine, right? Not drinking coffee for a while when you're addicted to coffee, it sucks. It's miserable. It hurts. That's war. Every single second that you are having a caffeine withdrawal headache is a second that your caffeine addiction is leaving your body. And so when you are making the decision to go to war on finances because you've been dumb with them, it hurts because the foolishness is leaving your body and is taking the lack of success that was going to plague your future with it. And so you're choosing to have pain now because you're going through withdrawal symptoms than to start having some kind of horrible health complication because you let yourself stay addicted to the foolishness. You're choosing to go through the pain now of the foolishness leaving your body, then choosing to go through the pain of letting the foolishness stay in your body. The first step of the financial sovereignty way is to forsake foolishness, choose fence-off, and declare war on chaos. Down, up, war. Step 2 is you've got to immediately cut all expenses to be below income. This is what the academy that my son was going to, that's closing in a week, refused to do. They refuse to go through step 1 and 2. They refuse to humble themselves. They refuse to stand up and say, bold as a lion, we choose wisdom, and we will sooner die than let this vision fall and then go to war and fight for that place. They failed to do step 1. So I can't teach them how to do any of the other 9 steps until they have chosen to do that, and leadership chose not to do that. And that is frankly extremely disappointing for me because I do not want to serve a church that is in retreat. I want to serve a church that is marching forward and helping people and growing. They wouldn't do step 1, and so for that reason, they couldn't go on to step 2, which I wrote a 9-page plan on exactly how to do on Monday night. I was up till 2 a.m. writing this thing. I wrote a 9-page plan on how to save this preschool. They wouldn't go through step 1, which was humbling themselves, getting up, declaring war, and choosing to be financially sovereign. Step 2 is slash and burn. I came up with the plan that leadership told me would work. They just needed to find $54,000. I was going to find $54,000. I mentioned it one time on stream. You guys raised $600. I could have found the $54,000 by today, but they told me to stop. I had all kinds of people that were interested in helping. The second step is slash and burn. You say, I'm cutting expenses below income no matter what it takes, period. As of today, or as soon as possible, and I do mean as soon as possible, like you're not sleeping until this is done, your expenses are now below your income. You've got to do that. After you've done that, then you can move on to the next steps. Next step is we're going to build and maintain a budget. We're going to build and maintain a plan for our money. If you're an investor already at this point, you've already skipped these steps, then you need to put an investment plan at this point. If you are just like everybody else and you have personal expenses, then you need a budget. From there, you save a starter $2,500 emergency fund. Then you declare war on debt in step 5, and then in step 6, you save 3 to 6 months of retirement. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then you continue on from there. But if you want to succeed in Bitcoin, you choose the fence-off way. You get down, you get up, you go to war. You slash expenses below income and you slash and burn. You write a budget because you are now the one that demands to be in control of your own finances. And then after the first 3 steps, that's where you actually start doing stuff with money because your heart's in the right position. You save that money. You don't watch it burn. You don't let it sink in the river because of the lessons you've learned. No, you let it grow, right? Now, some alligator walking down the hallway. Where's that from, right? You're going to let it grow. Let it grow, let it grow. And so that's where we get with Bitcoin is how do we apply these principles to Bitcoin? We understand these things. What it So here's how you apply it to Bitcoin. There's the lesson. Here's the application. What is it that you've been doing that was wrong with Bitcoin? What's the problem? What's the foolishness? What's the thing that you should have been doing but you're not doing? What's the thing that you are doing but you shouldn't be doing? Are you gambling away all your money in meme coins? You got to get down. Are you not paying attention to the news? You got to get down. Are you not actually investing? You're just kind of a backseat investor. You tell everybody else what they should do, but you don't actually have skin in the game. You got to get down. You don't believe in Bitcoin? Okay, then you got to just go over here. Fine. You don't need to humble yourself. It just might not be for you. But if you decide that you want to buy into Bitcoin and you say you don't believe in it and you own Bitcoin, then you need to get down. Either you should have sold it or you need to learn to believe in it. One of the two. And then you got to get up and say, I'm going to do the opposite. I've got to put off the foolishness. I've got to put on the virtue. I've got to put off the foolishness, put on the wisdom. I've got to put off the laziness. I've got to put on the discipline. We start by putting something off, and then we put something on to take its place so that our spirit isn't confused. Like, wait a minute, we just lost a part of ourselves. No. A part of you changed. I don't want you just losing a part of yourself. I want you to change. Like if somebody's going to the gym, I don't just want you to lose fat. I want you to put on muscle. I don't care if you stay the same weight. Let's just get rid of some of the fat and put on some muscle in its place. It's called body recomposition. We're going to do spiritual recomposition here. We're going to get rid of the foolishness. We're going to put on the wisdom. And so what is it in life or in crypto that you've been doing that's foolish? Go ahead. Tell us in chat. What is it? It's fine. It's totally fine. No judgment. It's okay. This is how we do this, right? We put off the foolishness, put on the wisdom. I will tell you something that I've done. For years, I didn't pay enough attention to the news. I was a hawk on the charts, but man, I just could not keep up with the news. For whatever reason, to be honest with you, I think what it was, it just didn't interest me as much as the charts. I'm a very numbers guy. News tends to be much more literary because you're reading, right? And so the charts always fascinated me a lot more because they're mathematical and they tickle the logical part of my brain. So I had to put that off, and I had to say, I've got to put on this discipline of reading the news. And so I do my best to keep track of what's going on in the space nowadays because it's important to have a holistic view of what's going on. That was something I had to do. I had to put something off, the foolishness of not keeping up with the fundamentals as much as I should have been, and I had to put on saying, no, I'm actually going to keep track of the fundamentals. And that helped. That made me more well-rounded in my perspective on the market. I had to put off, a lot of things, right? I had to put on other things. And then you say, whether this is a 5-minute or a 5-year war, I'm going to war to change it. I'm changing it, and I'm changing it ASAP. Because I want to live in the fruit of my wisdom, not in the destruction of my foolishness. And the sooner I am wise in my decisions and in my actions, the sooner I will have the fruit of that. So what is it in Bitcoin? Is it that you are not reading the technicals and you need to learn technical analysis? Is it that you're not reading the news like you should be? You've got the time and the interest. You just don't care. And you're just like, nah, I got better things to do. I've got 100K invested in Bitcoin, but I won't read the news. That's foolish. Let's say, here's one. I've never done this, but some people do that. They'll take out loans to buy Bitcoin. That is stupid. That is, as we say in the South, D-U-M-B, dumb. That is dumb. That is really dumb. You're not dumb. You're smarter than that, so please don't be dumb. Don't take out loans to buy Bitcoin. That is dumb. That is very, very stupid because it's incredibly risky and you're going to get burnt. You might need to put that off, and you might need to call up the bank today and say, hey, I'm going to actually pay this loan back, even if it means you have to sell some of the Bitcoin. I'm going to be whole. You ain't a whole coiner if you owe half the coin to the bank. Capiche? It doesn't work that way. You're not an investor and a debtor at the same time. Let's say, and this goes all the way up to the top. You got Grant Cardone, has $3 billion of real estate, owes $1.5 billion on it. He's not worth $3 billion. He's worth $1.5 billion because he owes the freaking bank. If the bank decided tomorrow, hey, we're going bankrupt, we got to call the loans, he's got to start selling property. You can make money not choosing to do this. But here's the thing. I saw a video. I have a lot of respect for Grant Cardone in some areas. Totally disagree with him in others. Listen, dude's 3 times my age, got way more money than I do, but he's still wrong. Right? I can challenge him on that. He's still wrong. He said the reason that he wrote the 10X rule. Who knows Grant Cardone and the 10X rule, that book? He's got a lot of things right. He said the reason that he wrote the 10X rule is that in 2008, he owed $50 million to the bank, and the bank called him and called all the loans. Literally the same thing that happened to Dave Ramsey when Dave Ramsey had $2 or $3 million of loans in the 80s, right? 2008, bank calls Grant Cardone, I'm calling all your loans. And he said, I am going to borrow so much money that next time this happens, and then COVID happened, next time this happens, I'm going to have at least 10X this. I'm going to have $500 million, and instead of calling the loans, they're going to come and say, hey, how can I help you? All right, so if you're worth $3 billion, and you are literally bigger than the banks you're borrowing from, then it's not as bad. But for you, me, and everybody else watching this that's not worth $3 billion freaking dollars, did you not hear the scary part of that? The part of the bank can just come and screw you over anytime they want because they own you? Did you not hear that part? Like, I'm all for building a multi-billion-dollar empire. That's what we're doing. I want to build a huge amount of wealth and manage that for God and be incredibly generous with it. I don't want the bank in on that. I don't want them profiting off of that because they're a leech. I heard somebody say one time that, oh, well, the reason you shouldn't pay a financial samurai. Love that guy. He's got a lot right. He's got this wrong. He said, one of the worst things about paying off a mortgage is that you lose your incentive because you have this drive to pay off a mortgage. Friend, I am not driven by paying off a mortgage. I am driven by changing people's life. For me, it's not about not being afraid of a mortgage, although I don't want a mortgage. Right? It's about, no. My drive doesn't disappear after I do that because it's never been about the money. If your entire motivation is paying off the mortgage and then you got, oh, well, I'm good enough, then it wasn't about the money. Then it was about the money. And it's okay for it to be about the money, about, hey, I don't want to be scared anymore. That's fine. But I also want you to have a bigger vision. I want you to have a nobler goal than just not being a slave. I want you to have a goal. People don't go to heaven because they're scared of hell. People go to heaven because they never want to be away from Jesus. I don't want you to become wealthy because you're scared of going broke. I want you to become wealthy because of all the awesome things you can do with it. That is a motivation that will never dry up. So quit relying on debt. We've got to choose to be wise. What is it that you have to put off? This is the main thing I want to talk about today. What is the main thing? And, you know, a lot of people aren't going to listen to this, and that's fine. They're going to realize in 10 or 15 years that they should have. You know, the thing that they have to put off is not listening to this message, right? Or somebody teaching this. Even if it's not me. I don't care if it's me. But they've got to listen to the idea of, hey, we've got to put something off. We've got to put something on. We got to get rid of the foolishness. We got to put on the wisdom. So what is it that you've done in crypto, past tense, present tense, whatever, in crypto, right? What is it? What is it? I'd like to know. Okay. So I appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Hey, make sure that if you've not already, to sign up for Uphold and Uphold's Vault. Guys, this is a great place to store your Bitcoin and your cryptocurrency. If you have not already signed up for Vault, you absolutely should. The link's in the description box down below. Here's how this works. You've got two keys. Should you lose one of them, the Uphold key will stand in the place. That's amazing. And the reason that that's so good is because if you have the Uphold key, if you lose a key, then you have not lost your Bitcoin. And you still have access to 24/7 instant trading with Uphold's exchange. So make sure to sign up for Uphold's Vault with the link in the description box down below if you have not already. All right, let's read a little bit of chat here. All right. Can Germany just get it over with? They only have 3846 Bitcoin left. Right. Yep, for sure. All right. Yeah. Hopefully that's been helpful to you guys. I mean, I want you guys to succeed. That's my dream. I want you to succeed. And part of it is saying, hey, look, I've got to change me. And some of you guys hear this and you're like, man, that is so true. And some of you are like, that's not TA. I don't care. I'm sorry, but you're missing the most important thing you can do in crypto, which is realize it's not everybody else's fault. It's your fault. It's my fault. Like the problem is me, right? It's me. I'm the reason I'm not better off. You know, it's me, right? I'm the problem. We got to humble ourselves. It's not a popular message, but it's sad because it should be, right? So, what's something that we can apply from FinSov and from everything here? We should also be investing. One of the things I want you to put off if you have not already, is that you're not investing. You don't have a budget, so you think you're broke, even though you might actually have a couple $1,000s a month of margin in there if you just budgeted correctly and made some cuts. You're not investing because you think, oh, I can't afford it. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Well, just by doing a budget, you might not be living paycheck to paycheck anymore, and you might find some margin to make an investment. Maybe you've got to put off not making investments, and you've got to put on making some investments. Maybe you're on the sidelines, you're watching. Put some skin in the game. I have Bitcoin. I've had over one Bitcoin for like 5 years now. I've been a whole coiner for half a decade, something like that, probably about 5 years. Right? I've been making investments in Bitcoin for a long time. I've had skin in the game basically since day one. Before I ever made the first video on the channel, I had like $10 in Litecoin when the first video went up, right? When the first video went up, I didn't have nothing, but I had something. It's an oxymoron. I didn't have much, but I had something, right? You gotta put some skin in the game. Make some investments. This is simple stuff, but it's important. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's stream. Make sure if you guys have not already, also to sign up for Crypto.com. The link is in the description box down below. They're trusted by over 100 million users worldwide, and they're the leader in regulatory compliance and security certifications, which is great. They're incredibly secure, very, very important, and they're trusted to trade with over 20 fiat cryptocurrencies, and almost every coin you could ever want is on Crypto.com. They've got all kinds of successful programs here, such as their on-chain staking. You can do your recurring purchases. And most importantly, guys, Crypto.com is a place for somebody that really wants to make a difference in their own life. That's their branding, and that's what they've lived up to. And it's a great place. So make sure to sign up for Crypto. Excuse me. Make sure to sign up for Crypto.com with the link in the description box down below. All right. Hope you have all enjoyed today's stream. We are going to wrap it out. Stay tuned for more content, and thank you guys for all your prayers for my wife and for our baby who are on the way. I hope you guys have all enjoyed. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good